Ever wondered why your aim is not accurate? You're losing 1 versus 1 fights and can't figure out why? Here's the secret which top players aren't telling you. Horizontal swipe acceleration. It's not just a setting, but a hidden mechanic that can make or break your aim. So let's break down what we will cover in this video. First, I will explain what this option is and what it does. Next, we will look into how pro players use this option. And finally conclude whether this option should be turned on or off. So are you ready? Then, let's get started. So what is horizontal swipe acceleration? To understand this clearly, disable this option. Now I want you to set your TPP sensitivity to 50. Now I want you to swipe your finger in the horizontal direction slowly. Now swipe your finger fast. As you can see, no matter whether we swipe the screen fast or slow, the sensitivity will remain fixed. Now without changing the sensitivity, let's enable this option. Now try swiping slowly with the same sensitivity. The movement is as expected. But now try swiping the screen faster. As you can see, the movement is much more higher when we swipe faster. This is the same when you try to control your aim while firing. So this is probably the reason for your bad aim. When horizontal swipe acceleration is enabled, the faster you begin to swipe, the higher your sensitivity gets. This applies to every sensitivity setting under lens. This won't affect any of the settings under gyroscope. Also note that this option won't apply for vertical movements. So do we enable or disable this option? It's not that simple, as they each have their own advantages. So let's take a closer look. Disabling horizontal swipe acceleration makes our sensitivity fixed. This is useful for long-range sprays where aim stability is crucial. It is also useful for TDM players, who focus mainly on 1v1s, as the fixed sensitivity helps maintain steady and reliable hip fire. And personally, as a full gyro player, the headshot connectivity seems much better when you disable the option. On the other hand, enabling this option will make your sensitivity depend on how fast you swipe, which means it won't be fixed. But this has its own benefits. It helps you make quick reflexes easily. And makes it easier to track your recoil on moving targets, which is useful for competitive players. It's still possible to control your recoil over long distances, but this needs proper adjustment of your sensitivity so you can control the varying speeds. If you enable horizontal swipe acceleration, you must reduce your camera and ADS sensitivities under lens. I have included a sensitivity code which is suitable when keeping the horizontal swipe acceleration option enabled. I won't focus too much on sensitivity as that will be for a later video. But I will also leave you guys with my sensitivity code if you decide to disable horizontal swipe acceleration. Now let's take a look at how pro players manage this setting. Competitive players such as Doc disable this setting, allowing them to maintain accurate sprays no matter the distance.
Watch out.
Even popular TDM players such as Star Captain disable this option, since fixed sensitivity is more suitable for 1 versus 1s, especially since keeping it disabled appears to improve hipfire connectivity. Whereas players such as Jonathan Gaming enable this setting and still manage to compete at the highest level. The only difference is that your sensitivity should be tuned perfectly until you're able to control the varying speeds due to swiping. So with all this in mind, should we enable or disable this option? The answer depends on your playstyle. always disable this option. If you are a beginner, since it's best to start with sensitivity that remains fixed regardless of how fast you swipe the screen. If you are all about long-range consistency, if you are a TDM player, since a fixed sensitivity is useful for 1v1s and disabling this option improves your hipfire connectivity. And you may consider enabling this option. If you are a competitive player that wishes to optimize your aim for tracking moving targets and making quick reflexes. However, do not forget that this requires properly adjusting your sensitivity so that you will be able to control the changes in sensitivity based on how fast you swipe the screen. I hope you now have a much clearer idea about this setting. This concludes our discussion about this topic. In case you are wondering where I got my finger sleeves, the finger sleeves that I bought are directly through Polish Peripherals, which is this amazing website where they offer amazing prices for all their gaming and tech-related products. Make sure to use the link in my description or comment section whenever you make a purchase. That brings us to the end of this video. Here's a few of my ultimate Royale gameplay before we end the video.
DBS ka rin namin eh. Oh, tawag kay Kinon.
Oo. Duro.
Last man.
Nice.